When you think about how NATO defends, it is based on, in the early days, enhanced forward presence battle groups, NATO forces, host nation forces, stopping that initial advance, the initial attacks, air defense, land defense, Navy, and so on. But a critical part of defense is also that the nation should assume, in a worst case scenario, should assume you may be there for about 2 weeks alone. Whatever's here will be in the fight. So French troops, American troops, plus all of Romania's forces, from ground forces, I would assume worst case 2 weeks.
What we have to do in NATO in order not to be surprised by the Russian war? What should we focus on when we are looking to the Russian army in Ukraine and beyond?
Well, first of all, believe what we're seeing. I mean, it's right in front of us. The Russians tell us what they're doing, okay? And so take the threat as real. There are still too many people that are like, oh, come on, they're not gonna, they wouldn't really attack a NATO country. Okay, well, you know, in February of 2022, even though we could see thousands of Russian troops on the border, there was still skepticism that, like, there's no way they'll really do this, and here we are. So I believe that the only way you deal with Russia is with strength. The idea of negotiating with them is ridiculous unless we have a very, very strong position, and they have no other choice. There is zero history of Russia living up to any agreement unless you had a very strong way to compel them to. I have no confidence about any agreement with them, especially where they might keep Crimea, for example. That will be a catastrophe for Ukraine, and it guarantees it will be in a war with Russia within the next 2 or 3 years anyway. So I would watch for that. They clearly don't care how many of their own people they lose. So attrition against them doesn't work. But I do think if we were more, if we did a better job of enforcing sanctions, I mean, they would feel the pain economically a lot better than they are now. This is an area where we could do so much better. And they need to know that we are committed to defeating them. There's too many people that are, you know, there's no way Ukraine can win. Sure there is. We have not even tried yet. We haven't tried to help Ukraine win. All we've done is try to keep them in the fight. That to me is a moral failure as well as a strategic failure.